Donald Trump just delivered what could be described as one of the most unhinged and alarming press conferences in U.S. history. He claimed that the United States plans to take control of the Gaza Strip, transform it into the Riviera of the Middle East, and essentially claim ownership. Here's the clip to watch.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
In this next clip, he states that the U.S. will turn Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East and mentions plans to send American troops there. Take a look at the clip.
Saying about the Gazans leaving Gaza, going to other countries. One, where exactly are you suggesting that they should go? And two, are you saying they should return after it's rebuilt? And if not, who do you envision living there?
I envision a world, people living there, the world's people. I think you'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable. And I think the entire world, representatives from all over the world will be there, and they'll live there. Palestinians also. Palestinians will live there. Many people will live there. But they've tried the other, and they've tried it for decades and decades and decades. It's not going to work. It didn't work. It will never work.
This is absolutely appalling and disgraceful to witness. Even Netanyahu seems to react with disbelief, as if questioning, "Are you seriously saying this out loud right now?" In this moment, a reporter asks Donald Trump whether he's referring to sending troops or establishing a permanent occupation. Here's how Trump responds.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister. You are talking tonight about the United States taking over a sovereign territory. What authority would allow you to do that? Are you talking about a permanent occupation there, redevelopment? And Mr. Prime Minister, do you see this idea as a way to expand the boundaries of Israel and to have a longer peace, even though the Israeli people know how important that land is to you and your citizens, just as the space is inherited by the Palestinians as well?
I do see a long-term ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East and maybe the entire Middle East. And everybody I've spoken to, this was not a decision made lightly. Everybody I've spoken to loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land, developing and creating thousands of jobs with something that will be magnificent.
In this clip, Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, seems to get that the situation is serious. Even Netanyahu gets that Trump's statement could cause global chaos and lead to big international conflicts. Let's watch the clip.
I mentioned again tonight our three goals, and the third goal is to make sure that Gaza never poses a threat to Israel again. President Trump is taking it to a much higher level. He sees a different future for that piece of land that has been the focus of so much terrorism, so many attacks against us, so many trials and so many tribulations. He has a different idea. And I think it's worth paying attention to this. We're talking about it. He's exploring it with his people, with his staff. I think it's something that could change history. And it's worthwhile really pursuing this avenue.
Yeah, please go ahead.
A reporter asks Donald Trump about Afghanistan and the situation there. In response, Trump comments on the reporter's beautiful voice and then admits he didn't understand anything they said. Watch the clip.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, I'm from Afghanistan. My name is Nazia Karimi, Afghanistan woman. As a high expectation from you, do you have any plan to change Afghanistan situation? Are you able to recognize Taliban? Because I'm an Afghan journalist, Afghan suffrage woman. Any comment about Afghanistan? What's your future plan for Afghan people, especially Afghanistan?
I have a little hard time understanding you. Where are you from?
Afghanistan.
Oh.
I'm from Afghanistan.
Actually, it's a beautiful voice and a beautiful accent. The only problem is I can't understand a word you're saying. But I just say this, good luck. Live in peace. Go ahead, please.
Without a doubt, this was one of the most absurd press conferences ever. Donald Trump has repeatedly confirmed that U.S. troops will be sent to Gaza and emphasized this repeatedly. Listen to what he had to say.
And Mr. President, given what you've said about Gaza, did the U.S. send troops to help secure the security vacuum?
So Saudi Arabia is going to be very helpful, and they have been very helpful. They want peace in the Middle East. It's very simple. We know their leader and their leaders very well. They're wonderful people, and they want peace in the Middle East. As far as Gaza is concerned, we'll do what is necessary. If it's necessary, we'll do that. We're going to take over that piece, and we're going to develop it, create thousands and thousands of jobs, and it'll be something that the entire Middle East can be very proud of. But everybody feels that continuing the same process that's gone on forever, over and over again, and then it starts, and then the killing starts, and all of the other problems start, and you end up in the same place, and we don't want to see that happen. So by the United States, with its stability and strength, owning it, especially the strength that we're developing and developed over the last fairly short period of time, I would say really since the election, I think we'll be a keeper of something that is very, very strong, very powerful, and very, very good for the area, not just for Israel, for the entire Middle East, very important. And we'll, again, have thousands of jobs, and there'll be jobs for everyone, not for a specific group of people, but for everybody.
Here he goes again, making yet another statement where he says, I strongly believe the Gaza Strip should undergo this process. He talks about relocating the people. Listen to his remarks.
I also strongly believe that the Gaza Strip, which has been a symbol of death and destruction for so many decades and so bad for the people anywhere near it, and especially those who live there, and frankly, who's been really very unlucky. It's been very unlucky. It's been an unlucky place for a long time. Being in its presence just has not been good. And it should not go through a process of rebuilding and occupation by the same people that have really stood there and fought for it and lived there and died there and lived a miserable existence there. Instead, we should go to other countries of interest with humanitarian hearts, and there are many of them that want to do this, and build various domains that will ultimately be occupied by the 1.8 million Palestinians living in Gaza, ending the death and destruction and, frankly, bad luck. This can be paid for by neighboring countries of great wealth. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 12. It could be numerous sites, or it could be one large site. But the people will be able to live in comfort and peace, and we'll make sure something really spectacular is done. They're going to have peace. They're not going to be shot at and killed and destroyed like this civilization of wonderful people has had to endure. The only reason the Palestinians want to go back to Gaza is they have no alternative. It's right now a demolition site. This is just a demolition site.
By the way, before Donald Trump and Netanyahu held that press conference, Trump was complaining about not receiving the Nobel Prize. Here, watch this clip.
They will never give me a Nobel Peace Prize.
What would happen if Israel?
I deserve it, but they will never give it to me.
Hey, we're seeing the actions of someone with a mental illness and spineless Republicans who let this happen. This was one of the most irresponsible and dangerous press conferences ever. He's calling for the conquest of sovereign territory, and what he said about the Palestinian people is disgraceful. Shame on Donald Trump and anyone who put this person in power, enabling this to happen. What we just witnessed was pitiful and appalling. We've got to spread the word and unite against this. We need to fight back harder than ever, take a collective offensive, and denounce the authoritarian regime that has taken control of the United States. To the Palestinian people, to peace-loving individuals around the world, most Americans do not support this. This is a terrible situation. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like, share, and drop a comment below. We are just getting started, so stay tuned.